Do you have questions about mortgages? Well, it turns out a lot of people have questions about mortgages and mostly their own mortgage because on today's episode of the Mainstream Mortgages podcast, we are talking about frequently asked questions. My name is Derek Vandell, and I'm joined today with Peter Paley and Colton Boudreau, my business partners. And let's start off with frequently asked question number one. A lot of people ask us, Colton, will this affect my credit score? What do we tell them?
It will impact your credit score, right? And it's only going to impact it a couple of points. So the worry, the concern, it just shouldn't matter because if you are trying to obtain a loan, we need to see your credit. So we got to pull it.
Exactly. So that was an easy one. Question number two, Peter. How does a mortgage broker get paid?
Well, there's a few different ways we can actually get paid. In 95% of the business that we do, the lender will pay us directly, a commission based on the mortgage size, the mortgage term, and the mortgage rate. So that's typically how we would get paid. However, there are lenders in the alternative lending space where they will charge you, the borrower, a fee of typically 1 to 2% of the funded mortgage amount, and then they will give us a share of that, usually 50%. And there are cases in private lending situations where maybe someone's in foreclosure or needs a band-aid solution for their mortgage with a private lender, that we would invoice the client directly for payment, and it would get paid out of the mortgage proceeds. And in really rare situations, which don't happen as much anymore, a lot of lenders offer a cashback program, and some lenders won't pay a mortgage broker, but they will pay a cashback out of part of the mortgage. It gets blended into the rate, and then we would use that for to cover our services with. So those are the four typical ways a mortgage broker would get paid.
And I think the important thing to note there is that here at Mainstream Mortgages, we always do our best to get you qualified in a way so that the lender pays us our fees, so we don't automatically try to charge you any extra fees or
No.
anything like that. All right, question number three, Colton. How quickly can I get pre-approved for a mortgage?
So I actually really like this question. The answer is simple, as fast as you move. If you have all your documents and you can complete the application today, we can probably have your pre-approval today. And when I say probably, it's like 98% chance. So as fast as you move is as fast as we move. If there's no hiccups, concerns, honestly, same day is pretty achievable.
That's good to hear. And question number four, Peter. Do I need house insurance?
Yes, you do. Every lender in the country is going to mandate you getting house insurance. And that's basically to cover them in the event of a loss, like if there's a fire or some force majeure, like a big storm or earthquake or flood. The lender wants to make sure that the insurance is in place so that if you do have a tragic loss like that, they'll get their money back. And it is 100% a requirement every single time on every single mortgage by every single lender.
Awesome. And okay, let's move on to another easy one for Colton here. Question number five is how much are the closing costs?
So typically we say it's between 2 to 3% of the purchase price. You always need closing costs. I know that's a big number for some people when they're not, either budgeting for it or realizing that they're part of the process. So we explain that. We can run a calculation that's pretty accurate on our end that'll give you a number that'll be really close at the time of when you meet with the lawyer for those closing costs.
And yeah, I mean, most people know that you need a down payment, but some people aren't sure about the closing costs, right? So that's a good point. And to piggyback off of that one, Colton, I'll ask you again, um, when do I bring you the money?
So you're not bringing me the money. It's funny that people think that. We're not the lender, right? Often people get confused that because we're handling the transaction, we're just not the lender. So basically, your lawyer will set up an appointment, and that'll be 10-ish business days prior to your closing date. And at that time, they will tell you exactly how to bring the money and exactly how much is required. And usually it's by a bank draft or a check.
Awesome.
Can I just jump
Okay.
in there? Like,
Yes,
I want
please
to
do.
back up to actually closing costs and just to let people know what the closing costs actually are. So you're going to have your legal fees. Most provinces are going to charge you a land transfer tax. You're going to usually have to get title insurance. You're going to have to pay any applicable PST and GST on the services. And in some cases, if the seller has prepaid their taxes till the end of the year, you're going to also have to pay them back for those taxes that they've prepaid. So those closing costs, when we give you that estimate, we try to account for every possible situation. So we're usually a little bit on the high side, but usually within a couple $100. We're really good at estimating your closing costs, and you can always contact your lawyer for more information.
Yeah, that's a good point, Peter. The general estimate is between 2 and 3% of the purchase price, but if you're working with mainstream mortgages, we can definitely try to get you a more accurate estimate for you. Um, so Peter, I've, filled out the online application and you've just sent me a huge list of all these required documents. Do I really need all of these documents?
Yes, you do. And I'm going to expand on that a little bit. So please believe me, whoever is watching this, we do not really want to ask for all the documents, and we certainly don't want to analyze all the documents, note up the documents, and make them fit into the standards. It's a lot of time, but we are mandated to do so, so we do. And when we ask for something, maybe your bank or credit union or mortgage professional hasn't asked that for that yet, but they will because there is a national set of standards that everyone has to follow, especially if you're putting down less than 20%. And we just need to meet the mortgage insurers like CMHC or Sagen's standards. And to be honest, maybe we do ask for a little bit more than anybody else, but we want to really make sure we do our job well so that when you are writing an offer on a home or you are uh, in the thick of it and putting your feet to the fire that you don't have any problems whatsoever because we've covered all the bases. So when we ask for it, we really need it. And if you push back on us, I'll push back on you and just be like, we really want to do a good job, and this is why we're asking for it. Because, like I said previously, we don't really want to go through pages and pages of documents, but we're doing this for your own good.
Yeah, not only that, but I mean, the lenders, yes, and the insurers, they have their requirements, but we're also regulated federally um, through compliance as well. So some of those documents are required by compliance standards, and even if you're going through a private mortgage, I know some private lenders don't need many documents at all, but in those cases, we're still going to ask you for most of the documents because they are now required by federal regulations. All right, next question. Colton, you got me approved and you're saying, okay, you're going to submit my file to this or that lender. How come I've never heard of those lenders before?
Yeah, so we deal with a lot of different lenders, as we've mentioned on previous episodes, but our main lenders are called monoline lenders, and they're just exclusive to us, mortgage brokers, right? So maybe you haven't heard of them, or your mom and dad bank with TD, right? And they've banked with TD for 30 years, same with your grandparents. Um, so they haven't heard of the MCAPs or the First Nationals or the RMGs of the world. Um, so those are just lenders that mortgage brokers are specific to use, and they're not open to the banks, right? They're just for us. We send your files to them, and yeah.
And
Awesome.
like the thing about them is like typically we're getting you a better rate. Typically you have better service. And these lenders, that's all they do. So like their online servicing is really great. Their mortgage broker
Mhm.
portals are usually pretty great. And they usually have programs and policy that many of the banks don't have. And not to slag the banks, because we have some excellent bank partners, including TD Bank, Scotiabank, Bank of Montreal and EQ Bank and now Neo Financial. So I mean, we love our bank partners too, and I think it's a really great opportunity here for me to underline the amount of choice that we have to offer our clients. And we can go to all these lenders in a blink of an eye, where it would take you, the borrower, 2, 3 weeks to go explore and research all this stuff. So we really are a one-stop shop for most Canadians.
All right, Peter. Well, you have me sold. I want to work with you. How do I start the mortgage process? That's our last question for today's episode.
Well, that's really easy. Like, if you can't find us online, there's something wrong because we are everywhere. You can call us or text us at 431-482-2187. You can email us at greatrates@mainstreammortgages.com. You can visit our website at mainstreammortgages.ca. And you'll probably find us on many of our realtor and industry partner websites. We have everybody linked coming to us. So it's really easy to work with us. We're happy to take a call, text. If you want to fill out our contact information form on our website, we have many ways to get a hold of us. If you want to send a carrier pigeon, I'm happy to take a note from a carrier pigeon. We just really want your business.
That's a great way to wrap it up. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.